who is extreme for supporting abortion up until the moment of birth. The Democrat Party is the party of extremism, of division, of hate. The Republican Party is the party of... Hi guys, welcome back to Pillars 2. Let's continue, shall we? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in every single battleground state right now, including Michigan, where they're holding a big rally today. There's thousands of people already lined up. Still at the beginning of the game, so nothing really too much happened so far. Just an introduction and stuff, and we went to a mine, etc. No big deal. We gotta get a ship fixed, so we gotta go back to the governor and report all our shit. Hopefully get the boat working.
Continues. CB Cotton is live in Butler, Pennsylvania with the latest. What are we learning, CB?
Hi, good afternoon, Griff. It has been a week since the 100-acre site here in western Pennsylvania behind me turned into a crime scene. We haven't seen federal agents working here today, Griff, but they were here for most of the week. And now we are learning from a federal law enforcement source that there are two working theories as to how the gunman, Thomas Crooks, was able to get an AR-15 style rifle into the Raleigh site. The strongest theory we're told right now is that Crooks pulled the gun near an HC unit that he used to climb onto the roof. The source says Crooks could have also carried it in a backpack, but again, the strongest theory that they have right now is that he hid it near an HC unit. We've also learned the gunman reportedly flew a drone over the Raleigh site just hours before he tried to kill our former president. And we know investigators...
Oh yeah, so I thought where we were, yeah, right here. Okay.
With servers based overseas. Classmates tell Fox News that Crooks was highly intelligent but also isolated, with parents who were not very active in their son's life. Overlapping investigations are now underway into how Crooks was able to fire from the roof of a building roughly 400 to 500 feet from where the former president was on stage. Fox News' David Spunt has learned a Butler Township Emergency Services Unit sniper team was inside the building Crooks fired from. We're told those snipers were looking outside windows for any suspicious activity. We know it's ultimately, though, on the Secret Service to protect former presidents. The agency and its director, Kimberly Cheadle, are facing tough questions as to why the building was not within the most secure perimeter. Republican Congressman Mike Waltz of Florida says for him, it's clear there was a breakdown in security and communication.
Clearly there was a breakdown in what they called the advanced work. That would have been done out of the the Pittsburgh Secret Service field office. And, how is the, where the sniper was shooting towards that building, how is that obstructed?
Now all eyes turn to Director Kimberly Cheadle and her testimony before the House Oversight and Accountability Committee on Monday.
All right, CB Cotton live in Butler. CB, thank you. For more on this, let's now bring in our panel. Former New York State Homeland Security Advisor Michael Balboni, retired FBI Special Agent John Iannarelli, and former NYPD Inspector and Fox News contributor Paul Morrow, who is live in Butler. Paul, let's start with you. It's been a week. We've learned a lot. We've got a working theory about possibly that the rifle was hidden, and also about drones being flown by drugs possibly hours before the event. What can you tell us?
Well, in terms of the investigation, and let's switch into that mode, almost certainly what's going to happen here is there's going to be a review of policy. And this stuff can be very dry and interminable, but it's what matters. And they're going to look on Capitol Hill as they talk to Director Cheadle about whether or not Secret Service protocols were followed. The estimation was there was going to be 20,000 plus people here, plus 7,000 vehicles. They expected a big crowd and blazing heat. From what I can glean, there was about 80 law enforcement personnel deployed. The resources likely were not enough, and I can tell you that at least one township here offered resources and was rebuffed. Another town police department here, the Butler Town Police Department, I spoke directly to them. They were never called for help and could have provided help, and in fact would have. So they're going to be mapping the procedures that should have been in place. They're going to look at the operations plan to see if it accounted for what it's supposed to have accounted for. Were the meetings held? Were the site surveys done? And then you're going to see where Director Cheadle, who was up in Aspen at the time for a conference, we're going to see if those protocols were followed by her team.
Well, that's a great point, Paul, and it is certainly going to be a heated confrontation with members of Congress and Director Cheadle on Monday. I think, John, you were an agent. You know that the agents that were on site must feel unbelievably frustrated that this has happened. But as the finger pointing goes on with both the number of resources they had and the protocols that were followed, how do you see it?
You know, Griff, Paul's exactly right. They obviously did not deploy enough resources, and a lot of mistakes appeared to have been made. And tragically, it could have taken the president's life, and it took the life of another person. We need to take a look at this from the top down. How big was the perimeter they set up, and why was it cut off where it was when you have that building that they thought was important enough that they have law enforcement officers at, yet outside the perimeter that was established? We need to look at this immediately because there's a lot of events coming up, including the one in Michigan today.
One thing, Michael, that has really stood out to me, and we can show you the timeline we put together for you. You can see the hour here. It begins at 5:10 p.m. Crooks is first identified as this person of interest, and then, of course, just over an hour later, Crooks fires the weapon. You can see all these things. But before the shot, at 6:02, Trump takes the stage. Michael, why was he allowed to take that stage? How is that the case?
So I've gotten a chance to work on national security events. The 2008 when Pope Benedict came to New York City, and the Secret Service took over everything. They were the ones who were literally giving instructions, telling everybody where they should be. I am getting more and more concerned about who this shooter is. The fact that he used a drone, the fact that he has encrypted accounts, the fact that he was on nobody's radar screen. In many ways, from a protective detail perspective, that is your worst case scenario. If someone comes out of the blue, is on nobody's radar screen, and then does these things which seem to indicate some tradecraft. The thing about having somebody who just comes out of the blue is typically they're complete amateurs and they have no tradecraft whatsoever. But this guy,
Governor Clario,
surveillance with a drone, and now it doesn't have any fingerprints on or profile on social media, and is able to come in and almost take out the president. Boy, a lot of questions starting to emanate from this guy's behavior.
That's right, Michael, and you rightly point out this was a national special security event, NSSC. There are nothing that ranks higher in terms of the amount of security that needs to be done in the case of an upcoming NSSC. And we mentioned the drone. Congressman Michael Waltz talked a little bit about those accounts. Paul, I want you to listen here to what Waltz had to say.
Other things are coming out, like the shooter had 3 encrypted accounts overseas. At the same time, we're having an Iranian plot. So, I mean, I think this is going to go much broader, much deeper. But the agents are going to hold her to account. Their lives on the lines, and she was not giving the resources they were requesting.
Fox reached out. The FBI authorities are not waving us off with that statement by Waltz there. What do you make of that, Paul?
So I'm going to hold my fire a little bit on that because I don't think we have enough facts. There are apps that you can load, that anybody can load onto their phone, use the communications that are encrypted and are in fact held overseas. And so technically they would qualify as to what the FBI is saying. Many of us have them. So I don't know exactly what is meant by that, but I will say this. There is a paradigm that I saw very often doing counterterrorism work for 15 years, where it's a very low-level operation, it's very cheap, and it's essentially catfishing. An entity overseas gets to somebody in America who's leading a kind of slipping down life, gets into their head, and essentially weaponizes them. And you know what? At this point, and some of the stuff we're hearing, maybe you do have to consider it a possibility because somebody who's susceptible, who's apparently prone to depression, who was doing some of the online searches that we've heard about, he might have been a vulnerable target and somebody might have spun him up.
Well, unfortunately, we are, as best we know, it hasn't changed. Crooks' parents, who were living live there at their home, aren't cooperating. Maybe we learn more on that. John, let me ask you, if you were a member of Congress on Monday, what would you ask? What would be your question?
The number one question is, what are the limitations? Why are the resources deployed to keep the figures in our government safe? Have they resources? And are they able to extend resources police agencies. You heard earlier that agencies have not been asked. Has the FBI been asked to assist? There's a lot of different sources out there that we can use to keep people safe. And the Secret Service doesn't appear to be doing that.
And Michael, I'll give you the last word. I've just got about 10 seconds. What would you ask, Cheeto?
So why would you go to the Republican National Convention, but yet not answer the questions of senators who are going to be voting on your budget? Why are you taking this in your own personal way? Nobody can talk about this in the Secret Service except for the Homeland Security office. This is too important. Political response, completely inappropriate.
I suspect she will be asked about that. Tony, John Morelli, Omar, thank you very much for your insight and your time.
Thank you, Greg.
Airlines, businesses, and even governments are rushing to get back on track this weekend after Friday's major global tech outage. Next. Here's to getting better days.
Here's the PT scoop every Thursday.
Help fuel today with Boost High Protein. Complete nutrition you need without the stuff you don't. So, used to now.
When the sawdust settles and the engine roars, the thing you care about is the job well done. But when you get your tools from Harbor Freight, something about the job feels different. Your wallet. Whatever you do it for less at Harbor Freight.
It won't be hard to find someone to fix this. But before I started Angie's List, different story. A lot has changed for us at Angie since then, but the issues facing homeowners are the same. And the solution too. Go local pros. Get started at Angie.com.
The best things in life come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 thumbs up. And now, I am welcoming to switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. Plus 2 months free, all the fast, reliable, nationwide coverage. Make the switch today.
Type 2 diabetes? Discover the Ozempic Trizone. Ozempic! I got power 3. I lowered my A1C, seniors, and lost some weight. In studies, the majority of people reached an A1C under 7 and maintained it. I'm under 7. Ozempic lowers the risk of major cardiovascular events such as stroke, heart attack, or death. In adults also with known heart disease. I'm lowering my risk. Adults lost up to 14 pounds.
Lost weight.
Ozempic isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't share needles or pens or reuse needles. Don't take Ozempic if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer or have multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2 or are allergic to it. Stop Ozempic and get medical help right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreatitis. Gallbladder problems may occur. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Ozempic with a sulfonylurea or insulin may increase blood sugar risk. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems. Living with type 2 diabetes?
That's not the power of 3 with Ozempic. United and divided as Republicans come together to nominate Trump for president. Shannon breaks down a disarray amongst Democrats for Biden's re-election on the next Fox News Sunday.
Bugs, weeds, and courts in every province and territory across Canada. Squash is the sport for wall-to-wall fun, fitness, and friendship. From coast to coast to coast. Learn to play and we want to do it every day. Squash. Play inside the box.
The program helped me a lot because I met other kids who were going through the same struggles as me. So I was able to relate and find where I could fit in. Thanks to the support of United Way, I'm able to achieve my dreams and become a doctor.
Issues are still lingering after a massive tech outage yesterday caused problems around the world with hospitals, airports, and many other businesses. Madison have the latest on the outage from New York. Hi, Madison. Hello. Several businesses are now back online, but you're right, Olivia. We're still seeing a lot of issues, especially at airports. Thousands of flights around the world were canceled yesterday, and I can tell you that there's currently over 1,600 cancellations today. The massive outage is also impacting major hospitals worldwide. Some even canceled non-emergency surgeries and appointments. The outage also hit 911 centers, DMVs, banks, stores, and a lot more. All of this stemming from a cybersecurity firm called CrowdStrike. There was a glitch with the software update early Friday morning. Computer systems across the globe abruptly shut down. CrowdStrike says they're working to figure out the root cause of this as the investigation continues. But CEO says this was not a cyber attack or a hack. Some cyber experts are saying this outage really highlights just how reliant businesses are on computer systems.
I would say have manual processes that are outside of computers that in case there is a complete disaster where all the computers go down, you can still operate at some level.
President Biden has been briefed on this. Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg is confident everything will be resolved soon, but says he's closely monitoring the mistake that led to this huge disruption.
Wake-up call. If there aren't redundant systems, if there aren't alerts and security measures in place, we're going to have a bigger problem if this is a major attack.
And there's a big concern that this may be the perfect opportunity for cyber criminals to take advantage of people who are desperate for a solution right now. To you.
Very good point, Madison Scarpino. Thank you. You know, Griff, I personally wasn't affected by this, but as someone who spends a lot of time in airports, man, was I feeling for those people. Were you in an airport?
I was leaving the RNC. My producer, Tyler Olson, and I were driving at 4:10 a.m. to get into the exit to Milwaukee's airport. When we heard on the radio, Milwaukee's airport was shut down.
Right too.
Ground stop. And so, fortunately, we were very lucky. We were able to get about an hour delayed, which happens all the time, to affect us. But we even know some people who were delayed so long they just got a rental car. It drove all the way back from Milwaukee to D.C. It was quite an outing, and I think that woman in Madison's reporting there has it right. This was a glitch from one company on a software update, not a hack. Frightening stuff going forward to know that a computer could just cripple the airline, hospital, banking industry in a moment's notice.
Yeah, this is absolutely frightening, and it's an argument for pencil and paper.
Indeed, let's bring it back. Meanwhile, a Dallas church dating back to the 1800s was partially destroyed in a fire yesterday. Firefighters say the roof of the First Baptist Church partially collapsed as flames filled the building. While the damage is significant, senior pastor Robert Jeffress says thankfully no one was hurt. The cause is unknown, but investigators believe it may have started in the basement. Lisa?
Texas Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee has died after a battle with pancreatic cancer. The Democrat represented her district, which includes Houston, for 30 years. In a statement, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi highlighted Jackson Lee's work to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. And on X, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said she, quote, fought throughout her life to make our country a better place for all. Representative Sheila Jackson Lee was 70.
Fortitude.
Okay, everyone. Our mission is to provide complete balanced nutrition for strength and energy.
Ensure with 27 vitamins and minerals, nutrients for immune health, and ensure complete with 30 grams of protein.
Subway offers 20% off any sub, any size. Woo! 20% off sub is fun to say. 20% off subs are fun to eat. You'll love 20% off subs.
Take the stag.
Any sub, any size. 20% off at Subway. When I started My Pillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, with the help of my dedicated employees, we now have hundreds of products, some you might not even know about. To get the word out, we're having a $25 extravaganza. Two-pack multi-use My Pillows, $25. My Pillow series,
I need a crew.
$25. After the first time ever, our six-pack towel sets, you guessed it, just $25. Our brand new four-pack dish towels, $25.
I've never done this before. Premium eye pillows with all new
Go check the bender again.
any size, any loft level, even king size for only $25. And there's so much more. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code for our $25 extravaganza. Order $75 and over, your entire order ships absolutely free.
Achy legs and painful arches? There's comfortable energy size for that. Our easy on, easy off graduated compression size to help reduce swelling, relieve tired achy muscles, and provide energizing support. Our new arch support technology for targeted compression to help ease arch and ankle fatigue.
These are fantastic. One of the better guns.
If you have to wear compression socks for whatever reason, these are a game changer.
Check Copperfit Energy Socks in these line stores. Only 47. Aneurysm. Did he have life insurance? Do you? Gotta get on it. Check out Select. Trust me, the peace of mind is worth it.
Life insurance is too important to put off another day. That's why Select Quote makes getting coverage you need easy. For less than $1 a day. Now get up to a $2 million policy with no medical exam and same-day coverage.
Visit SelectQuote.com. We shop, you save. Selling your home? Realtor.com's Real Choice Selling lets you choose from multiple agent proposals. Because when agents compete, you win. Don't all have to do that? Not really. Trust the #1 app real estate professionals trust. Download the Realtor.com app today.
After careful review of medical guidance and research on family, my recommendation is that every home should have salon pumps. Powerful, yet not addictive. Targeted and long-lasting. I recommend salon pumps. It's good medicine.
I hear it all the time. People tell me they'd love to buy gold, but because it's gold, they think it must be complicated. It isn't. Not with Rosalind Capital. With Rosalind, the entire process from start to finish is built on one concept. One. Keep it simple. Rosalind Capital, a trusted leader in helping people acquire precious metals. Gold bullion, Lady Liberty gold and silver proofs, and our premium coins can help you preserve your wealth. Call Rosalind Capital at 800-630-8900 to receive your free Rosalind Guide to Gold, Gold and Precious Metals IRA, and Silver brochures. With Rosalind, there are no hassles, no gimmicks. Our shipping is fast and reliable. Remember, keep it simple. Make gold your new standard. Call Rosalind Capital today at 800-630-8900. 800-630-8900. That's 800-630-8900.
Trump's VP pick, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, now suggesting if Biden drops out of the presidential race, he should also resign as Speaker-in-Chief. This as the list grows to 35 congressional Democrats calling on the president to withdraw his re-election bid. Christina Coleman is live with the very latest. Hey, Christina.
Hi, Greg. J.D. Vance is not holding back his thoughts on this. He says if President Biden is going to drop out of the race, he should resign and leave his job as president. Vance wrote on X, if Joe Biden doesn't have a cognitive function to run for re-election, and he certainly doesn't have a cognitive function to remain as commander-in-chief, how can any Dem pushing him to drop out of the presidential race argue in good faith that he should stay on as president? Meantime, the list of Democratic lawmakers pushing for 81-year-old Joe Biden to drop out of the race seems to be growing by the day, and now includes prominent Democrat California Congressman Adam Schiff, a close ally of former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi. And while Biden claims the elites are the ones who wanted to drop out, recent Fox News survey shows otherwise. The survey was conducted between July 7 through July 10 and shows 44% of Democrats say he should withdraw from the race and allow his party to select a different nominee. Now, this comes after his disastrous debate performance and growing concerns about his mental capability to serve effectively as president. Some Republicans say the softball questions the media has been asking Biden over the past 2 years certainly should not help.
It's really fascinating to see the very people who were asking Joe Biden what kind of ice cream he likes for 3.5 years suddenly are shocked by his lack of coherency that everyone saw on that debate stage that night. And no one can unsee that, which is the problem they're dealing with.
Also at the RNC this week, Florida Senator Marco Rubio shared J.D. Vance's sentiment on Biden, essentially saying
I'll take everybody.
that he can't continue to be the Democratic nominee, how can he still be the president? So we shall see what happens next. Right?
We will indeed. Christine Coleman, thank you very much. Lisa?
Folks in his orbit feel like the writing may be on the wall. The electeds I'm talking to seem to have a sense right now of maybe it's not a matter of if, but when he steps down.
It's impossible for Biden to stay in.
Yeah.
Even if he wants to stay in, how do they suddenly put that toothpaste back in the tube? What Axios is reporting that people very close to the president, both congressional leaders, personal friends, they believe he's going to get there, as they put it, over the weekend.
The media are receiving a series, a flood of anonymous leaks and tips throughout the week on the status of President Biden's campaign. For more on the role the media has played in Biden's potential exit from the 2024 race, we're joined by Axios politics reporter Steph Kite. Hi, Steph. Good to see you. We're going to put up some headlines. There's no shortage. We have Axios, your organization. Democrats see aura of inevitability around Biden. New York Times, the roots of Biden's defiance, anger, fear, pride, regret. The Washington Post. Pelosi is.
Let me double check.
That Biden may soon be persuaded to exit the race. Okay. This is reporting that's being done on the situation that the president finds himself in, but this is also a mechanism.
We're gonna go here.
To try to get through to the president. Your thoughts?
I gotta talk to the supplier, see if we need anything.
It's been clear that there have been congressional leaders who are very close to Biden, who have influence over Biden, have tried to talk to him behind the scenes first. First, they went to Biden and his inner circle. They had those come to do these meetings with the president, trying to explain to him why they have concerns about his ability to win in November. These are people like Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, people who have been around in the Democratic political system.
To enjoy life,
and that really did not seem to change the president's mind. We start seeing leaks from those meetings, putting even more pressure on the president and those closest to him to take this situation seriously. And now what we're watching for next is whether we start to see more on-the-record statements, media appearances from these very same leaders calling on Biden to take that next step.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point. And, one of your bosses, Axios co-founder, Mike Allen, was on Fox and Friends talking about the leaks reporting that's being done. Take a listen.
The series of leaks that we saw this week, coming from every top congressional leader, coming from aides to the former president, that was the signal to him that not only do you not have the support you need on the Hill, you're not going to have the money that you need, that the donors now think that this isn't going to work.
Steph, as you know, there are some Biden loyalists out there who see this as an absolute betrayal. And here is Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Over the last several weeks, there have been lots of Democrats who have been giving little anonymous quotes to the press, to some journalists, to print. And I'm not here to knock the press on it. I'm here to knock my colleagues on it. Because to me, I think that's, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say this about the night, that's.
So, Seth, I mean, if the president doesn't signal what his decision is going to be, and if it is not a decision that many of the Democratic leadership want, this is going to get much uglier, much more public.
Yeah, and time is running out for various reasons. If Democrats want to even have a chance of regaining a sense of unity before November, this decision needs to be made one way or the other very, very soon. Of course, if Biden does decide to step aside, that's going to unlock a whole other debate over where to go from there, whether Democrats have enough support for Vice President Harris to kind of crown her as the nominee, or if we see sort of this loose primary situation where a couple of candidates throw their names into the hat. And so there really is pressure for Biden to do this very, very soon. Of course, keep in mind, we also are dealing with other important moments in the political sphere. We have, Prime Minister Netanyahu coming to D.C. just next week to speak with Congress. There's a lot of big moments coming up. And so it's clear that people want Biden to make that decision soon. There was some talk that he could make the decision as soon as this weekend. It's not clear if that's still the case.
Okay, well, we will continue to watch. Steph Kite from Axios, thank you so much.
Thank you.
of the United Nations International Court of Justice, calling Israel's presence in occupied Palestinian territories unlawful and asking for it to end. This as protesters in Israel urged Netanyahu to close the hostage deal ahead of his planned trip to the U.S. Stephanie Bennett is tracking all of it from our London bureau. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey, Griff, yeah, many people are calling this a landmark decision that came down yesterday that could sway some international leaders and their thought process, and also fuel moves for unilateral recognition of a Palestinian state. Now, diving into all of this, the top United Nations court said that its policies and practices used by Israel in its occupation of Palestinian territories are in breach of international law. Now, the International Court of Justice says that Israel had no right to sovereignty in the territories, was violating laws against acquiring land by force, and was impeding Palestinians' rights to self-determination. Also saying that Israel must immediately end settlement construction and all existing settlements must be removed. The judges also said that other nations are obliged not to render aid or assistance in maintaining Israel's presence in the territories.
All states must now uphold their clear obligations. No aid, no assistance, no publicity, no money, no arms, no trade, no nothing. No actions of any kind of support to support Israel's illegal occupation.
And Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Okay, excellent. I think we'll be on our way now. Let's see. Nearest exit right up here.
Critics say Netanyahu is prioritizing the war against Hamas over the internationally backed ceasefire deal that President Joe Biden has taken the lead in promoting. And also, Griff, we are getting some breaking news this hour. Israeli military says that it has struck several Houthi targets in Yemen. Of course, we were covering this all morning about the strikes that hit central Tel Aviv near the U.S. Embassy. So this seems to be a counterattack. And of course, the Houthis have been launching several strikes since this war began on October 7th. None of them
Let's save it before anything goes wrong.
Last one that we saw Thursday night into Friday. Of course, we're going to dive deeper into this in the next hour. Griff.
And we will be watching Stephanie Bennett, tracking all of it live from London. Stephanie, thank you. Alicia?
Thanks, Greg. Florida is expecting an unusual downpour this weekend, so-called dirty rain. That story is next.
Did you know Sling has your favorite news programs for just $40 a month?
My favorite news for just $40 a month?
My favorite news for just $40 a month?
News for $40 a month. Sling lets you do that. I won't let my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis symptoms define me.
Emerge as you. With Tremfya, most people saw 90% clearer skin at 4 months, and the majority stayed clearer at 5 years.
Serious allergic reactions. Tremfya keeps the risk of infections at the really fine. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms, or if you had a vaccine.
Emerge as you. Emerge Tremfya. Ask your doctor about Tremfya.
Grit, guts, glory. You've got some winning genes. Find out what you're made of with Ancestry DNA. And for a limited time, you can see how your genes stack up against world-class athletes. Or even your trash talk cousin Brad. See which athletic traits are built into your DNA and the people you share them with. So get on your mark and get set for the sale of the summer before Brad beats you to it.
Stay tuned to see how you can get a Hydro Steel hose for 50% off. Details are on the way. Oh, your garden hose is too short. Your expandable hose exploded. And your heavy-duty hose kinks and tangles. Get Hydro Steel, the new generation high-performance hose. The only one with triple layer fusion technology. Made with real steel. All 3 layers. Rubber, steel, industrial fiber. The commercial-grade inner rubber hose holds 500 pounds of pressure per square inch. It's wrapped with a flexible construction-grade 304 stainless steel sheet, and then wrapped and protected with a durable all-weather diamond weave sleeve. Add the oversized easy-on connectors, and you've got the perfect hose that's super strong, flexible, and lightweight. With Hydro Steel, no kinks, no knots. hoses, connecting multiple hoses together, or hauling that old heavyweight hose all around the house. Get Hydro Steel and enjoy up to 100 feet of go anywhere, do anything, kink-free, tangle-free, single hose freedom. And look at this. You can tie it into a dozen knots and the water still flows. Let's roll a 7,000-pound truck over it. That's Hydro Steel strong. And right now, you can get the Hydro Steel hose in 25, 50, or 100-foot lengths starting as low as $29.95. And the shipping is free no matter what length you choose. But wait, order now and get 50% off the second unit. And the shipping is still free. You also get the brass power jet nozzle with adjustable spray port. It's ultra durable to use anywhere around your home or job site. And it's yours, free. And Hydro Steel is backed by the Bell & Howell 10-year replacement guarantee. So get the real deal. Get Hydro Steel right now.
The order call 1-800-296-4713 or order online at buyhydrosteel.com. So call 1-800-296-4713 or go to buyhydrosteel.com.
You're finally on vacation, but can't help but worry that something isn't right back home. With MyQ, home is just a touch away. MyQ is the only smart home security solution that provides video monitoring, real-time notifications, and lets you decide who comes in, who stays out, all in one easy-to-use app. So take that well-deserved break. MyQ has you covered. More record temperatures could be on the way for the western part of the United States. Excessive heat warnings are in place for 19 million people in parts of California and even into Nevada and Arizona. Parts of Washington, Oregon, and Idaho are also facing wildfire danger. Forecasts show a chance of dry thunderstorms.
Well, Florida is awaiting dirty rain as a plume of Saharan dust is expected to arrive this weekend. Fox Weather's Brandy Campbell is in Miami following that story. Brandy, I've heard of purple rain as immortalized by Prince. Never heard of dirty rain. What is it?
Yeah, it'll be a first for me, but the Saharan dust is moving in over this region now, just as storms are also expected. If you take a look over my shoulder, you can see downtown Miami. That dust is creating a hazy skyline. So where is it coming from? Well, this is coming a long way from the Sahara Desert in Africa after being lost in its atmosphere by tropical waves. I'm told the dust is behind us enough to not cause health issues, but as it mixes with incoming rain, it could stick onto surfaces, so it's definitely not convenient to wash your car. Now, while it's in attention as it makes its way over land, it also has a large impact on hurricane season traveling across the Atlantic between June and August. I spoke with the Deputy Director of NOAA's Hurricane Field Program on how the dust helps hinder hurricanes.
Saharan dust is typically an inhibitor of tropical cyclone hurricane development because it's associated with very dry air. So when that Saharan dust is around, it acts as a suppressant and really limits hurricane activity. And when that dust moves on, yeah, it can provide an opportunity where conditions can be more favorable for
Now, conditions like sea surface temperatures that are already above average could help storms rapidly intensify. However, he says areas of dry air and vertical wind shear could still hamper storms for the remainder of hurricane season. Months predicted to be very busy with up to 25 named storms. Now, Chris, I'll tell you, we're going to take a
projects, all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair, done well. Emergency plumbing, done well. So the next time you have a project, join the millions of homeowners who use EMP to care for their home. Get started at EMG.com. Former President Trump will hold his first rally since last weekend's attempted assassination in Butler, Pennsylvania. That'll happen at 5 p.m. Eastern today in Grand Rapids, Michigan. Trump will be joined by his running mate, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance, for their first campaign event together. Welcome to Fox News Live. I'm Alicia Acuña. Hey, Greg.
Alicia, great to be with you. I'm Griff Jenkins. A busy hour. Here we go. This comes on the heels of an energetic RNC convention in Milwaukee as more Democrats call on their presumptive nominee to withdraw from the presidential race. Alexis McAdams is live in Grand Rapids, Michigan, kicking things off in this hour. Hey, Alexis.
Hey, Griff. Yeah, you can see here just next to me these crowds of people. They've been out here in Grand Rapids, Michigan, an important swing state this election for hours, getting ready to see the former president speak. So I'm going to step out of the way and kind of see what's going on here in Michigan. This is happening before the president will take that stage with his running mate, J.D. Vance. Let's take a look at some pictures from them from the RNC. Vance can help win Trump some states, including parts of the Rust Belt. That's like Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Ohio. This is what people have to say about Trump picking Vance. Watch. Do you know much about Vance? Were you surprised he was a pick, or do you think that, him and Trump just kind of clicked and came down to chemistry?
I knew about him from the movie, and I kind of followed him a little bit, but I didn't know that he was going to be, one of the picks. So pretty excited about that.
If Trump thinks he's good enough, then
my apologies.
I'm for it.
We're going to be ready. Oh, look at these people. You don't see this at a minor rally. We got thousands and thousands of people. We're behind them.
So when we're talking about safety and security, Griff and Alicia, right? We talk about it all the time, especially just 1 week after the former president was nearly assassinated. Just breaking moments ago, confirmed by the Florida Police Department. We know a man in Florida was arrested for written threats saying he was going to kill Trump and Vance days after that attempted assassination. So that just shows you why security and safety is so priority here, not just in Michigan, but across the country as the former president hits the campaign trail. Send it back to you.
Alexis McAdams, live for us in Grand Rapids. Alexis, thank you.
Meantime, the New York Times is reporting that President Biden is fuming over the effort inside his own party to push him out of the 2024 presidential race as he spends the weekend in Delaware recovering from COVID. Kevin Cork is live in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, with the latest developments. Hey, Kevin.
Afternoon, Alicia. You're right. Quietly fuming. That's how campaign insiders are describing the president's move, according to the New York Times. Practically incandescent over this idea that party insiders, party brokers in particular, are apparently hall-gazing and fretting over his election chances this coming November. Worse yet, nearly 3 dozen Democrats on Capitol Hill, including another congressman today, are calling for the president to step aside for the good of the party and make way for another candidate to take on the resurgent former President Donald Trump. However, not all congressional Democrats are on board with swapping out the 81-year-old because, as AOC puts it, it wouldn't necessarily mean the elevation of Vice President Kamala Harris, which would then set off a political eruption inside the party, which she says Democrats are simply not prepared for.
If you think that there is a consensus among the people who want Joe Biden to leave, that they will support Kamala as Vice President Harris, you would be mistaken. I have not seen an alternative scenario that I feel does not set us up for enormous peril.
This, as former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and other Democrats are said to be amenable to an open process should the 81-year-old step aside.
So, look, Joe Biden is our nominee. As I said before, he has a really big decision to make. But what gives me a lot of hope right now is that if President Biden decides to step back, we have Vice President Kamala Harris, who is ready to step up to unite the party.
Listen very carefully to the language and what they say, and in particular sometimes what they don't say. Now, of course, Axios is also reporting President Biden is eager to get back out on the campaign trail
Once he gets over COVID, he hopes to make trips to Georgia and Texas. We'll see if that happens soon. But for now, that's it.
Right, it's not just what they say, it's how they say it. Kevin Clark, thank you.
That's right. Alicia was joined now by Democratic Congressman from California and member of the House Foreign Affairs and Financial Services Committee's Brad Sherman. Congressman Sherman, thank you for being here.
Good to be with you, and I'd like to just take a second to pass on my condolences to Sheila Jackson. She was a great member of Congress. She was missed by her family.
Excellent spot to save.
Missed by reporters and producers on Capitol Hill. She was always very gracious, very professional. Talked to us. I appreciate you doing that, Sheila Jackson Lee. Let me turn now and get to what appears to be a breaking down, Congressman. We've seen each day the number of Democrats.
See you guys next episode, all right? Peace out.
Rose to 35. The most recent one in California, fellow colleague Mark Takano, the ranking member of the Veteran Affairs Committee. And we've seen now 4 senators, or Senator Sherrod Brown yesterday. Do you believe that there's any way to reverse this tide? And where do you stand on calls for steps?
About 15% of our caucus has called upon the president to step out. Maybe about 15% has been very vocal and say stay in. And